Hello all, welcome to Tech with Sess. In this video, we will discuss about OAuth 2.0. So OAuth is utilized for the security standards whenever we want to implement the authorization systems, right? So it is very popular whenever we want to secure our APIs. So because like every API exposes some resources, and we want to make sure that only authorized systems or users are able to access those resources, right? So OAuth is like utilized mostly for the authorization, right? So now let's understand the security paradigm traditionally, like how we are normally exposing our resources in general, right? So in traditional systems, suppose there is some user, and if they want to access any resource or on the application server, so what they do, so we normally share our ID and password, and after our ID and passwords are sent to the application server, it will validate, okay, whether these credentials are correct or not. And when they are certain that, okay, these credentials are fine, then the user is able to access the resources, right? But nowadays, because of increasing threats from the hackers or malicious actors, it is not recommended to send your ID password over internet or maybe over any channel, right? So to overcome and to remove the need to set our ID password over network layer, so we want to basically utilize OAuth 2.0. OAuth is also having 1.0, which is a very complex methodology. But right now, OAuth 2.0 is very famous and popular among developers to implement the authorization, right? So let's first understand what are the various resources about or in the OAuth 2.0. So suppose, for example, let's see, take an example of a photo application, right? So suppose user is having many pictures or photos, right? Which have been saved by user on resource server, right? So here you are seeing two component of OAuth 2.0. First is the user or resource owner. So the photos are the resources which are like protected resources, and they have been saved by the resource owner or user on the resource server, right? So now, and also now user want to basically print their images which are on a resource server using a third party application, right? Like image printer application, or we can also a client to that, right? So now we can see there are four component in OAuth 2.0 as of now, what we have seen till now. So we have a resource which is protected and is this stored in resource server. Then we have a user who is resource owner, right? Who is the owner of this particular resource. Then we also have a third party application which want to access the pictures on the resource server. Then, for example, now resource owner sends an instruction to third-party application to please print my few photographs, right? So, but now this third-party application need to access the photographs, right, before it can print them. So, for that, it will request access about those pictures or resources from resource server, right? But do you think that resource server will be allowing the access to this third-party application to access their photographs? No, right? Because a resource server does not know about this third-party application. And also, the pictures are the protected resource from the user. So until unless this third party application is authorized to access those pictures, it won't get the access, right? So and to basically process the whole sequence, right? We also have one more component called the authorization server. So this server is a gateway so that third-party applications are able to access resource on resource server, right? So now we have understood the various resources, various components which are part of OAuth 2.0 framework. So we have a user who is resource owner, but resource is something which is protected, like images of a user and which are stored on a resource server. Then we also have the authorization server or auth server. That server is the key or gateway for the third party application to be able to access the resources on the resource server. Okay. So now let us understand the whole flow, how the whole flow works in OAuth 2.0. But before that, I want to just clarify that these two terms, right, authentication, authorization, are used very interchangeably, right? Sometimes people use them without understanding them properly. So, OAuth 2.0 is not for authentication, right? And it is only for authorization, right? So, please remember that OAuth 2.0 framework is primarily designed for authorization. Although I have seen few applications or few applications where they are using it as the authentication method as well. But in general, whatever the spec says, it is only for the authorization system, right? So now let's understand the sequence diagram and how the sequence is running between these components, right? So here we can see that we have a resource owner and a third-party application, then the auth server and the resource server. And resource server will be having the photographs stored already. So in the first step, user or resource owner will send an instruction or request to third-party application. Please print my few photographs, right? Or like some photographs which it can send in the list as well. Now, the third-party application has to access resource server, but it cannot reach that server directly. It has to first communicate or talk to the auth server, right? So it will say, okay, I am sending you a request to authorize me on behalf of client, right? So it will pass the client ID as well, because ultimately the auth server knows the client or user, not the third-party application. So whenever it is sending a request for authorization, it will send the client ID and few things also, right? Okay. So now our server will say, okay, thanks for the request, but I have to verify from user, because ultimately user should be also saying, yes, I have sent the request via third-party application. So now our server is will be sending a request for permission to approve this request coming from the third-party application. Now, once user says, so yeah, okay, yes, I have sent this request to you to share the resources or photographs, then we'll send okay, request is approved. After now request is approved, right? So now our server is certain that okay, the request which is coming from third-party application is legal, right? It's legit. Now it will send, okay, it will say that okay, now you got the permission granted, right? And also it will send some auth code, right? That auth code is will be utilized by the third party app in next few steps. Let's see how. So now the third party application will send request to the auth server. Okay, please send me access token. So based on the auth code, which it received in the previous call from the auth server, along with the client ID, client secret. It will send a request for the access token. After auth server verifies all these details, it will send back the access token to the party application, right? So now once it gets the access token back from the auth server, it is going to send request to the resource server with this, using this access token, right? Now resource server will be also verifying because both will be part of one ecosystem. So resource server will also verify with all server whether the request or the access token is correct or not. So after a resource server is able to verify the access token which it has received from third party application with the auth server, it will send the photographs back to the third party application, right? So with this flow concludes. So we can understand that the various exchanges of messages which are happening among the resource owner, third party application, auth server, and the resource server. So in this whole sequence diagram, you can see that there's no step in which the client or the user has shared the ID password, right? So that it is a very secure mechanism to provide the authorization of resources. So apart from this flow, suppose you want to refresh the token, right? Suppose you want to change the token as well. So for that, we also have a method called the refresh token. So when like a third party application will send a request for refresh token, it will get a new token, right? Which is also valid. So all these tokens are short-lived. Even in case of any security breach, you have the capability to revoke the token as well. So that's why the OAuth 2 gives you a lot of capabilities in terms of security. So once we request the refresh token, we also get the new token, new access token, which can be utilized for the further calls, right? So that's it for the OAuth 2.0. So this is like very popular nowadays whenever we are trying to basically access APIs, or like there is any API to API call. So normally we set up like this. So we have the auth server, and auth server will provide the access token based on the client ID, client secret, and all those credentials. So yeah, so thank you. Thanks a lot for watching my video. See you next time. Please leave comments or questions. Please subscribe. Thank you.